Do you own the S&P 500, or are you planning on investing in it? If so, you may be shocked to realize that 5 stocks decide or matter whether you'll make money or not. It sounds crazy, but it's actually true. So we're going to jump into that in today's video. We're going to explain one of the primary reasons that's happening. Make sure you stay to the end to hear all of the reasons. But before we get started, like and subscribe to the channel. Takes a second, means a ton. Guys, I want to tell you a quick story before we get started that maybe you can relate to. Have you ever had a moment where the market was outstanding, had a great day, the news is filled with energy and excitement of the day's gain, but when you look at your portfolio, it doesn't feel as exciting. And it certainly wasn't, the energy that you have or the gains that you have doesn't feel like the same amount of energy that you heard on the news. Well, we're going to jump in and explain why that very well may be happening, because you could be sitting there with the feeling like I have, like there's something wrong with my portfolio. Why am I missing out on the gains that everyone is excited about? My gains are minimal. What is happening? I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the reality of the S&P 500 and what's happening today that is different from the past. So let's jump in and talk about it. As we know, the S&P 500 represents the top 500 companies in the US, but in reality, it's not 500 companies anymore. It's more like 5. If you take a look at your screen, you can see these 5 companies, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, and Google, mean way more than the past. These 5 companies represent 30% of the entire index. I'm going to say that again. 5 companies out of 500 decide a massive chunk of your returns. I want you to think about, if I put this in simple terms and compare that to the NFL. Let's say there was 5 players in the NFL that scored 30% of all the points in a total season. That's certainly not balanced. And I don't think that's the picture any of us would have in our head when we hear the word diversification. But this didn't happen by accident, and it certainly didn't happen overnight. These companies are everywhere. They're like embedded in our lives. They're the fabric of our lives. We use Apple and Android, each and every one of us. We shop on Amazon. We search on Google. Companies run on Microsoft Cloud, and Nvidia is powering the AI boom. These are not simple companies. These companies are more like infrastructure. These companies are more like roads, electricity, and internet. So what it means is that when these companies have had a great day, the index looks great. Our portfolios look great. When these companies are down, even if the other 495 companies are up, something feels off. Something feels broken in our portfolios. Take a look here. I just want to reinforce, if you look at the map, this just shows the importance by weight of all 500 companies in the S&P 500, and it's over a 3-month period of time. Just look at the size of those square rectangles of Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Nvidia. They are significantly overweighted within the index. When these guys are off, we are going to feel it. It feels like your portfolio is broken. It feels like we're missing out, like that story I said in the beginning. So here's the uncomfortable truth. If you're not invested in these 5 companies, or if you've underweighted them in your portfolio, you may technically be invested in the market, but you may be missing out on most of the upside. And if you're invested in the S&P 500, great. You're already betting on these 5 companies by being in the 500, but you may not realize the extent of the bet that you're putting on these 5 companies. Guys, I don't know if it makes it easier for you. No one's ever framed it up for me as simply as that and made me think about it. This was really helpful for me. I hope it was helpful for you as well. And what it means ultimately for us as investors is that diversification means something different now. It also means that when people say the market is great, they really mean that these 5 companies have done great. And it means that the boring index fund that we're invested in, you may not realize how top heavy it is, or many people don't realize how top heavy the index fund is with these 5 companies. So I'm not saying that it's good or bad, it's just different. And we need to understand the differences so it can help us approach the market and help shape our investment strategies overall, because there's only a handful of companies now that matter so much more than ever before. So I want to ask a genuine question. Did you already know this? Was this as surprising to you as it was to me that 5 companies represent as much of the index as they do? Drop a yes or a no in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And ultimately, do you think that this makes the market stronger, or does it make it more fragile? If you learned something from this video, if it made you think about the market differently or made you think about the index differently, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. It means a lot to the channel. Because at the end of the day, guys, for me, honestly, personally, I thought I was much more diversified than I actually was, but now I know. Take care, and I'll see you down the road.